Well, moving on to lighter notes and things I actually like talking about. One of the big sports stories last week, I'm a little late to the party recording this, but last week, two college basketball coaches got into a pretty decent altercation. So, what had happened was the University of Wisconsin and the University of Michigan were playing each other, and Wisconsin was beating them like a drum. Like, Wisconsin was kicking their ass, 6 ways to Sunday. And in the final seconds, I think there was less than a minute left, Wisconsin called a timeout when they're up by double digits on Michigan. And Michigan's so mad about that, and Wisconsin, was like, oh, we didn't get the play right. And Michigan's like, look, dude, you beat our ass. Just let us get on the Greyhound bus back to Ann Arbor. You don't have to rub it in. And so afterwards, the two coaches passed each other in the handshake line, which I think the handshake line is so stupid. We're making these grown ass men shake each other's hands like, good game, buddy, good game. Like we're playing an AYSO youth soccer league game. Like they're just going to slap each other on the butt and give each other kisses on the cheek. Like, oh, you played so hard. Like, listen, I like when people have competitive edge. I think basketball's gotten unbelievably soft. Like, I miss the Michael Jordan clotheslining people and sending people's heads into the second row. Like, I don't like this LeBron, like, hey man, be on my TikTok. Anyway, sorry, I hate being that guy. But anyway, they're going through the handshake line. And I guess what had happened is Greg Gard, the coach of Wisconsin, tried to get at Juwan Howard, who's the coach of the University of Michigan. Now, to give you a little backstory, Greg Gard played at one of the lower levels, and Juwan Howard is a former all-star in the NBA. We're talking like A-level athlete. And Greg Gard gets in his face and I guess wants to explain why they called the timeout. And Juwan Howard is like, dude, like you can't. I guess he felt like he was rubbing it in his face. And so Greg Gard, who I don't know why, first of all, you would get in Juwan Howard's face. Like, Greg Gard is like 5'8" and built like a baked potato, right? So, and he's going to get in another grown man's face who's an athlete, an NBA All-Star, over 6'4". Like, this guy, like, first of all, Greg Gard played at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. For all you that don't know, the University of Wisconsin-Platteville, you could drive an RC car around it. Like, it's basically a big community college. Like, if you're going to UW Platteville, did I say UC? I meant UW, University of Wisconsin-Platteville. If you go to UW Platteville, that's just like an 18-month sabbatical before you have to go to prison. They've got 3 majors. They've got like janitorial studies, bricklaying, reading and writing. That's it. It's not a university. Like, if you get an acceptance letter to UW Platteville and you get excited, you're probably the same kind of mouth breather that gets excited when you get a Happy Meal toy in your Happy Meal. And so Greg Gard played there. Meanwhile, Juwan Howard played at the University of Michigan, which has had dozens of people in the NBA. Academically, you can't get into it, okay? Like, for example, I'm a moron. If I applied for the University of Michigan, even as a joke, instead of sending me a denial letter, they would send someone from Michigan out here to Salt Lake to shoot me in the head for disrespecting their university like that. They would shred my transcript so fast like it was Hillary Clinton deleting emails. Like, really. And so, so, so Greg Gard gets in Juwan Howard's face and starts touching his chest like, like, hey, buddy, you better listen to me. And Juwan Howard goes, you better not touch me, pal. And then all of a sudden, I guess they just start gnawing at each other, jawing at each other, going back and forth. And then I guess one of the Wisconsin coaches gets involved and gets in a space or starts shoving Juwan Howard. Juwan Howard punches the assistant coach. And that sparks a melee between the two teams. Things have to get broken up. It's the end. It's in Madison. The crowd is getting nuts about it. But the thing that I loved is you know what? I know it's controversial. I love when a coach has a little fire. Like if I'm a player and I'm going to go to battle for a guy and I'm going to run wind sprints, I want a guy that's got a little dog in him. A guy that like you shove him, you're going to catch some hands, kind of a thing. And people, all these sports writers and people like, oh, it's such a disrespectful sport. People that can't even do 8 chin-ups are criticizing athletes, which is like 90% of sports broadcasters. Like, weren't even on the junior varsity team in junior high, but yet they're going to critique on a macro level how athletes should do, with nacho cheese and cookie crumbs on their stomach. They're going to tell these guys how their technique and conditioning is bad. And they were all like, oh, this is disrespectful. Juwan Howard should lose his position. Listen, man, sports is getting soft, okay? And I respect LeBron James. I like what he's doing. He's a good man, philanthropy, big social media. Great, but like, I'm so tired of LeBron like going to Cancun with rival players with like saying like, happy birthday, Joel Embiid, my big tough teammate, or, whatever. I like when guys would fight it out. I mean, Michael Jordan punched teammates who weren't with the program. He would like test you day one of being on the Bulls, You get traded to Chicago, you're like, oh, the greatest player ever. If you messed up on a play or you weren't doing what he wanted, you're getting a little kiss on the mouth, a little knuckle sandwich to the lips. I kind of like that. I hate to say it. It's toxic, it's evil, but it shows a little bit of character. And so, yeah, I don't know why Greg Gard decided to get in Juwan Howard's face, but it's kind of good. I liked that there was a little bite in sports for once, and that's something that's been missing for a very long time.